Hey guys, what's up? So I've been away for a little while. I haven't really posted many videos, unfortunately. I've been messing around with other characters, but I've been leveling my paladin. I got my paladin to 60, and I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I enjoyed shaman, a little bit more than druid. My monk is also 60, and I wasn't a huge fan. I feel like they're definitely struggling a little bit still. Um, so I'm just gonna do a quick video today. My arena partners are online right now, and I've had trouble getting like good quality games. A lot of what I've been facing is like your typical double or triple DPS teams, and with the season being so bursty, it's very annoying. Um, I played Ret for a while, and that was fun. Very fun actually. My paladin's not super geared. I'm like 180, I believe, something like that. So 181. So I'm getting there. It's fun though. I really enjoy it. I'm keeping the shaman and the druid geared best I can, just so that if any fixes come out, I could still play them because I love those characters. So let's get right into it though. So we're gonna go over my choice of talents, my choice of covenant and why, and then what I think is the best legendary right now for PvP mostly. However, I run the same spec in Mythic Plus with one difference. So I'll show you the difference. And the legendary I think will work very well in um, Mythic Plus as well as raiding for PvP though. All right, so we have the Holy Paladin talent tree right here. It's pretty simple. There's unfortunately not a whole lot you can do off the linear path, right? So we'll go through all of them real quick, right? So you have a Crusader's Might, not too bad for Mythic Plus or PvP, honestly. If you're running a really offensive team, this would pair very well with Avenging Crusader because it's going to reduce the cooldown on your Holy Shock when you Crusader Strike. So you're going to be Crusader striking a lot with Avenging Crusader, and you're also going to be Holy Shocking more, which could do more damage on your target, or you could be using it to heal. I don't pick this though. I pick Bestow Faith. I'll cover that in a second. So Light's Hammer, I tried it through 3 Mythic Plus runs, and it's absolute doo doo. They need to buff the healing and the damage on it for it to be worth anything, or reduce the cooldown. So Bestow Faith, it used to put a shield. Now it just does like it's like a hot. So after 5 seconds, it heals them. I'm not exactly sure what mine heals for, but it scales through spell power. So obviously, the higher intellect you get, the more healing it'll do. Another important thing is it generates one holy power when it heals. So you kind of want to have that on at all times. You could use it to pre-heal a tank in Mythic Plus, or if you know your arena partner is going to take a lot of damage, you could use that on them. Next, we're going to go to the 25 tier. So for arenas and rated battlegrounds, I use Saved by the Light. I also use that in some raids, but for the most part, just PvP. And the reasoning why is I run Beacon of Faith. We'll cover that at the end. But I run Beacon of Faith, so whoever your beacon's on, if they drop below 30% health, they'll absorb the next at my item level it's like 15k something like that damage, which is a good bit. It's not bad at all. So uh, I also use Judgment of Light sometimes. I'll swap between these two. I run a melee cleave, so Judgment of Light, it's gonna always be putting out healing while damage is being done. So Holy Prism, not the worst choice, but I don't pick it very often. It just kind of, you don't get any holy power, right? So you Holy Paladins at this point in the game rely pretty heavily on holy power. So the heal's not bad. It heals and damages, so it's not terrible. But I definitely prefer these two um, for the 25 tier. So 30, realistically, you could pick whatever you want. Um, I run Repentance in arenas. I also run Repentance in Mythic Plus because there's some packs where it can help to either CC before or CC during the pull. So Repentance is nice. Blinding Light, I'll run that in some matches. Like if I know I'm gonna get blasted off the start, I'll run Blinding Light. That way I can uh, pop it, pop it into like a Hammer of Justice. I play a Tauren, so sometimes I'll throw a War Stomp in right after that. Um, it's just a nice little burst. It's instant, so versus your 1.7 second cast. But you can pick whatever. Fist of Justice, whenever you spend Holy Power, which again, Holy Paladins rely very heavily on Holy Power. So whenever you're spending Holy Power, it's going to reduce your Hammer of Justice cooldown by 2 seconds. So it could add up pretty well. Um, I haven't run it too much though. Next, we're going to look at the 35 tier. So Unbreakable Spirit is again not the worst choice available. I don't run it. I run Cavalier just because I like to be able to get away. Having that second charge can be very helpful. Rule of Law is also not too bad. It increases the range of your heals, um, and your mastery, right? The reach of your mastery. So your Holy Paladin mastery, the closer you are to your targets, the more healing you do. If you're playing a far game, you're not going to be doing a lot of healing, right? So you could pop Rule of Law, you can get them big heals off, and you could play further back. Um, I, I I don't run this too much. Again, I run a melee cleave, so I'm usually right there with them, or they're right on me, peeling who's ever trying to kill me. So Cavalier is pretty good. Unbreakable Spirit, if you know you're going to be in a game longer than 3 minutes, I would run Unbreakable Spirit. But this this whole tier is pretty much situational. I typically run Cavalier though. Next we have Divine Purpose, Holy Avenger, and Seraphim. Right, so I don't I don't touch these. I probably could run Holy Avenger in some situations. Seraphim not so much. It'd be alright for Mythic Plus maybe, but yeah. Divine Purpose. So Holy Power abilities have a 15% chance to make your next Holy Power ability free and deal 20% increased damage and healing. Oops. So with that, um, I see it procking pretty often. I don't have a proc percentage or proc rate, but I see it procking pretty often. Um, like I'll Word of Glory, and I'll get a free one, and then I'll get a free one. So it's not bad. Plus that 20% increased healing is pretty nice for free. So Holy Avenger, your holy power generation is tripled for 20 seconds. Again, not bad, but I mean, that'd be very situational. And on a 3 minute cooldown, you gotta look at how many free Word of Glories you're getting off of this, um, to make it worthwhile to not get this. Seraphim costs holy power. If you're not healing, you're wasting holy power. So that's out of it, in my opinion. Next, we have the 45 tree. So Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and also reduces Holy Shock's cooldown by 40%. I like this one. Avenging Crusader, you become the ultimate Crusader of Light, increasing your Crusader Strike, Judgment, and auto attack damage by 30%. Crusader Strike and Judgment cooldown 30% faster and heal up to 3 injured allies for 250% of the damage they deal. Lasts 20 seconds. And then Awakening. Word of Glory and Light of Dawn have a 15% chance to grant you Avenging Wrath for 10 seconds. Alright, so Awakening is not too bad. Um, it really gives you like that what do you call it? It's not bad, right? Because you're gonna be using Word of Glory a lot in PvP, Light of Dawn a good bit in Mythic Plus and Raid. So to get that free wings for 10 seconds is not too bad, right? But I like this because you can control it. You can control when you're gonna have wings. So, I mean, they're both. This whole tier is really good. Again, it falls back on a situational. I'm gonna probably always run Sanctified Wrath in arenas. If I'm running against triple DPS, I'll run Avenging Crusader because that way we could just charge in to whoever has the least defensive, the least sustain, and we could just blow them up. I know in BFA I would often do like double what a damage dealer would do with Avenging Crusader popped. It's not the same case anymore. It's not as strong. You're not going to hit as hard, but it's still good. And the fact that it puts out sustainable healing while your wings are up, it's not bad at all. I run Sanctified Wrath normally though. It's not a bad choice. So level 50 tier, we have Glimmer of Light, Beacon of Faith, and Beacon of Virtue. I wish I could just cross out Beacon of Virtue. I've run it, I've tried it. It's horrible. Um, for the mana cost, and then the amount of mana you're gonna spend, trying to get some flash of lights off in those 8 seconds. It's not worth it. Um, not at all. Not at all. For Mythic Plus and Raid, I'm gonna probably always go with Glimmer, especially because of the legendary we're gonna talk about. Um, I do run Beacon of Faith currently for Mythic Plus and Raid because I haven't crafted the legendary yet. I'm still behind on Soul Ash, right? So um, Glimmer, it's the same as the Azurite trait from BFA. So whenever you Holy Shock, it leaves a glimmer of light on the target. When you Holy Shock again, targets that have that glimmer are either damaged or healed for a pretty decent amount. It can cap at 8 targets, so it's not terrible. Um, Especially with that legendary, right? Your if you're Kyrian, Divine Toll will also put Glimmer on, so it's pretty good. Beacon of Faith, I run this 100% in PvP. So mark a second target as a beacon, mimicking the effects of Beacon of Light. So this ties in with Saved by the Light, right? Because it mimics the effects. Um, your heals will now heal both of your beacons, but at 30% reduced effectiveness, right? So it's not doing 50, it's doing 30. I mean, total 60%. I mean, I'm not a math magician, but to heal 2 targets instead of one, especially in PvP, is huge. Realistically, 3 targets, right? So, Beacon of Faith all day. Um, I mean, Glimmer for M plus and Raid. If you have the legendary, if you're Kyrian, 100%. If not, Beacon of Faith is still pretty good. So, PvP talents. This is again pretty straightforward, right? So, always Divine Favor. It's instant. It's different than BFA. So BFA had a minute cooldown. Now it's 25 seconds, which is amazing. I don't know if you guys know how long Holy Light takes to cast. It takes forever. So your next Holy Light or Flash of Light is increased by 100%, casts 60% faster, and cannot be interrupted. So you could pound out Holy Lights with this. They heal a ton, a ton. It's amazing. All right, so Ultimate Sacrifice, um, pretty much always as well. Your Blessing of Sacrifice now transfers 100% of the damage to you into a damage over time effect, but no longer cancels when you are below 20% health. Um, I mean, this is kind of like playing with a double-edged sword sometimes, but I, especially with the current meta, right, with the high damage, high burst, you need to be able to pull damage off your DPS. So Ultimate Sack, always. And then the last one, you can kind of run whatever. I playing a melee cleave again. I like to run Avenging Light sometimes. It does do pretty decent damage. It's nothing crazy, but it does a decent amount. So you could run Avenging Light, or you could run Light's Grace. This ties in perfectly with Divine Favor. Hollowed Ground also isn't too bad. That way you can kind of save freedom for your teammates. You don't have to freedom yourself. Blessed Hands is also pretty good. This last spot is kind of situational again, right? Because there's teams that you won't need Bop or Freedom. There's teams where you might need to put out that extra damage. So I usually run Light's Grace normally. So this is your talent tree. Like I said, pretty straightforward. The only changes that I ever really make, um, Glimmer and Judgment of Light. Sometimes I'll grab Crusader, but this is my normal PvE talent tree. And then for PvP, this is what it looks like. Not really too different, right? So let's look at the Kyrian Covenant. This is what I picked. So, oh, we updated it. Okay, here we go. So, Kyrian Covenant, what you get is Divine Toll, and it functions, it's pretty simple, right? Nothing to really worry about. There's no cast time, it's simple, right? Mind Games is weird. The Druid, Convoke, or Ravenous Frenzy is kind of situational. Divine Toll is simple. So, for Holy, you're going to instantly cast Holy Shock on up to 5 targets within 30 yards. Costs 15% base mana, not crazy, and it also has a 1 minute cooldown. So that's it. That's all it does. It's amazing because you're going to Holy Shock. If you're in the threes, your two teammates, maybe you, if not you, the whole team against you, right? So that's just putting out damage. That could function with Glimmer, maybe, if you wanted to. I like to. It also generates Holy Power, right? Because it's casting Holy Shock 5 times. So if it hits all 5 targets, you're getting 5 Holy Power. So I like to only use this when I have 0 Holy Power. At most 2, but I like to have less. So I mean, I love it. I love Divine Toll. I didn't even check the other covenants. I don't know why you would not play Kyrian as a paladin. Venthyr I guess, is pretty decent. And then your legendary, right? So Shock Barrier, it's in in my opinion, it's well in Wowhead's opinion too, I guess. It's like the best in slot for Holy. Um, I I looked through a lot of legendaries when I re-rolled Paladin, and I was trying to find like 2 or 3 to look for because I've been playing my Paladin for like a week now, and I just got this pattern last night, like 2 a.m. So it's the first pattern I've got actually. Pretty pretty excited. So whenever you Holy Shock, it protects the target with a shield of Holy Light for 18 seconds, absorbing damage equal to 20% of the Holy Shock every 6 seconds. It can also protect up to 5 targets. So the reason why this is so huge is, come on, Wowhead. There we go. So it's so huge because if you look back at Glimmer, your Holy Shock leaves a Glimmer, right? So whenever you Holy Shock, it glimmers, and now it has a shield. And then you look back at Divine Toll, which is right here, up to 5 targets, right? So you Divine Toll, now each of those targets now have a Glimmer, and each of those targets are also going to have a Shock Barrier. It caps at 5, which is, um, good because your Divine Toll only hits 5. I wish I can go a little bit higher for Mythic Plus, or not Mythic Plus, I'm sorry, rating, but 5 is fine. I'm okay with 5. Um, this is what Wowhead thinks your stat preference should be. I mean, it's always going to be Verse for me, but probably Haste first. But I mean, that's in my opinion the best legendary for Holy. Um, and it says, right here as well, if you build around this legendary, it is very good. Using things such as Divine Toll, Glimmer, Crusader's Might. I didn't even think about that. Um, it just becomes more and more powerful though. The current meta, people are getting like dropped out of in a global, right? So it's good. Also, this legendary drops in Torghast. Um, I forget exactly where in Torghast. I think it's like the layer 3 um, of the Cold Heart, something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna have some videos coming out of arenas on the Holy Paladin here probably next few days. I've been having a blast playing it, and I'm really excited to keep pushing. I've struggled to get the gear because I was dying a lot, so I'd lose. But I got the gear. We're getting the wins, and I'm gonna have some videos coming out here soon. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to the next videos.